all I was doing. I was working my day job, and the rest of my time I'd spend going to the wrestling.
Yeah, did you think at that time I can make it as a wrestler?
No.
Welcome to Stories of Brisco and Bradshaw. I will be Bradshaw. That would be your Chickasaw native, your Chickasaw Hall of Famer, Mr. Gerald Brisco, Oklahoma's favorite son. And we have got the former European champion, the hardcore champion, former tag team champion, WWE and WCW. In a business dominated by big men, this man dominated by talent. And we think he's made rubber because you couldn't kill him. He is Mr. Spike Dudley. Spike, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
so,
funny.
Spike,
No talent. I could take a beating, but I didn't have any talent. That's.
Oh man, Spike, you were Gumby up in the gorilla position. How in the world is he getting up from this? Bring the shovel and bring the cartoon shovel in so you can shovel him up before the
chalk
shovel
outline.
Before the shovel could get there, you were up beating the hell out of somebody, man. What a talent you were, man. And I've sit there behind the monitor wondering how in the hell is he going to survive this? There you go, man. You survived. But let's talk a little bit about pre-Spike Dudley. Let's talk
pre-Spike.
Let's talk about what kind of influenced you into getting into this crazy business. At your size. I mean, I'm a small guy, but I have a little bit.
You got a few pounds on me, respectfully.
Bigger than you, but you took a beating at that Energizer Bunny type guy. But what influenced you? How did you get it? I saw where you actually broke in California, but you're an East Coast guy. How did you get from the East Coast to California, then back to the East Coast, man? You're like a yo-yo there.
I'll give you the condensed version. So I've got three older brothers, and I grew up in New England. So all we had then was WWF on TV, but I was always a huge fan. With three older brothers, I always got beat on, but learned if you don't complain, you get to hang out. You know what I mean? Learn to take a beating, but I always just loved wrestling. That was always my thing. So I went to college at Skidmore in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Wait a minute, Skidmore. I mean, John has skid marks. Is that
That's horrible. That's
terrible. It is. It kind of is.
You're assuming the bad part of it, JBL. That's don't want that. Outside your driveway.
You're denigrating this fine public institution that a lot of
I did.
This is a private snooty elite. It's a wannabe Brown. These are for the kids. These are for the rich New York City kids that couldn't get into Brown and Harvard and Yale. They went to Skidmore. I went there because I had relatives that went there. So I just got in by alumni. Nothing to do with grades or brains or anything. I just, but a liberal arts school. Anyways, so what happened was I loved it, but I had no career path or anything like that. But I was dating a girl at that school that was from San Francisco. And when we graduated, she was like, well, I want to move back to San Francisco. You want to come with me? I went, yeah, sure. Why not? So I moved out there with her. Then 2 months later, she dumped me. So I'm living in San Francisco by myself. I know nobody. I know nothing. I'm watching Saturday morning wrestling, and this commercial comes on for a wrestling school, which I'd never seen or heard of. But so you want to be a pro wrestler, call this number. We'll train you. Well, what the hell? I got nothing else going on. I called him. I said, look, I'm a little guy. I might be a manager or a referee. I just want to get involved. And the guy said, yeah, come on down. Took my money and threw me in with the guys, the wrestlers, just to learn to bump and do all of that. And after literally only 2 months, I was the only guy in the class left. Everybody else had dropped out. They couldn't take it or whatever. So I waited. There was another class came in. I started training with them. And after 3-4 months, I kept doing the wrestling. The guy that was training me, and I don't know, Jerry, I don't know if you ever came across him. It was a guy named Ricky Thompson. He was a black guy out of the Southwest. He did Arizona, California, and all. It was basically a hand. He was a jobber in the sense, but he was a hand. He was always there. He was the trainer. And after 4 or 5 months, he just looked at me. My name is Matt, by the way. He went, Matt, the hell with this manager stuff. You're fun to watch. We're going to make a wrestler out of you. And I just went, okay. And so I started. And I got a couple of years of indie experience, and then I sent out videotapes to everybody. And then it was WCW, WWF, Smoky Mountain, ECW, just a couple Japan promotions. I just sent out videos. Still have my rejection letters from Jim Ross saying thanks, but no thanks and all that. But I got a call one day from, it was Taz. And he goes, hey, we saw your video. You know, can you make it to the East Coast? Now, I was working an office job, like a temp job in downtown San Francisco. They happen to have an office.
Before you go any further, you're living in San Francisco. You break up with your girlfriend. Did you move out? Did you get an apartment? That's expensive.
Yeah, I was living in I went, I was 21, 22, just looked on the ads and found like 3 people that had a room in an apartment. So it was, 3 or 4 of us in a little tiny apartment in the hate of San Francisco. When you're 21, you don't give a crap. You got a bed, you know what I mean? That's all you need. Yeah, so that was just doing but that's all I was doing. I was working my day job, and the rest of my time I'd spend going to the wrestling.
Yeah, did you think at that time I can make it as a wrestler?
No. No. I mean, it wasn't, and I say this all the time. It has nothing to do with trying to make it. It was the journey. It was just that I was even behind the scenes to begin with, because that was still kayfabe. Like, you know what I mean? So just to get that far, I was just doing it because I loved it. I could care less.
What year are you talking about there, Spike?
I started in 91.
91. Okay.
I mean, it was at the tail end. Dave Meltzer just come out. Like, that was the start of like the dirt sheets and stuff where it was starting to really get exposed. But I was still they were still training you in a shoot manner. Like the first 3 months was. Yeah.
Where Ricky was training, or was he running house shows there in the San Francisco area? Or
they started to. He was trying to promote her. The guy's name was Roland Alexander, who you might remember from like Beyond the Mat, and that, I don't know if you've ever heard the name. But so he started the school first, and then as they got a little staple of indie wrestlers, they started working house shows, indie shows. So it developed over those 2 years. They started running regular shows. When I left, it actually took off as an independent promotion. But at the time, we might have done 1 or 2 shows a month. I mean, when I got hired by ECW after 2 or 3 years, I might have had 30 or 40 matches under my belt. Like, that was it.
Right.
The rest of it was just ring time at the gym. So anyways, Taz calls me and just says, hey, can you move out? Can you come out to the East Coast? So my office job.
At that time, did you know who Taz was? I mean, did you get ECW television?
No, I'd seen a couple of videos.
ECW television it was 91, so it wasn't on yet. Right?
No, well, this time it was 96. It was 95, 96, somewhere around there when I went over to ECW. So it'd been around for 4 or 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
And it had made the dirt sheets and all of that, but no, where I was, I didn't have access to anything. I'd seen a couple of clips of like Sabu, and that was it. I didn't really know anything about it.